Oh, how absolutely wonderfully jolly. It's nice to see you, and it's nice to see you. Geraldine is with me, Geraldine Foley of the Newry and Portadown branch of the Inland Waterways Association of Ireland. Things are going well. The good weather has helped you a little bit.
Well, yes, the good weather helps everybody, Rowan, sure. Miserable when it's miserable, and it's good when it's good.
Well, the only thing I'm saying to you is, you know, you've had more miserable days on the canal than you've had sunny days, but you've never been unhappy with it. You're out in all weathers to do your work on the canal.
Yes, there's some people would say you need to put a statue in the garden or something, but we just go ahead anyway.
Yeah.
No, the good weather has had its downside, Rowan. You might have heard recently there was a fish kill.
Oh, yeah, out at Bessbrook.
Yeah. Yeah, so that had a detrimental effect on the canal.
Yeah.
Well,
how did that really have the effect on the canal?
Well, the water comes down the Bessbrook River, as you know, and
into
feeds
the canal.
the canal.
So we might have had fish killed in the canal as well.
We did have.
Oh my God.
Definitely did
Many.
have. Yeah, many.
Many, yeah.
Many, yeah. So that's a bit of bad news. And the interesting thing about it is, you know, the water comes down the Bessbrook River, goes into the canal, on down the ship canal and out to sea.
Yes.
It's been so dry, there's been hardly any water coming down the river. Hardly any water going into the canal. Water's not getting away. Fish die. Water gets contaminated. And so I think the council and the Lochs Agency have been investigating, but they've also been taking measures to try and get the contaminated water away as quickly as they can. And for us, the interesting thing about this is if the canal had been restored already, they would have had a supply of water back up the canal that they could have used to get rid of the contaminated water more quickly.
From where?
Well, the canal would be full.
Oh, yes, yes.
So
that
the section above would have been there full of water.
It would have flooded it on down.
You could have used it to do that. You know, you could have opened the sluices right from Acton Lake and you could have given yourself all that extra quantity of water and flushed things away a lot quicker. So that's maybe a reason nobody ever thought of before for restoration of the canal, isn't it?
But no doubt you've brought it to the attention of the authorities.
Well, yes, you know, please restore the canal so we can save the fishes. I don't think that would be their only reason, but it's another one that we hadn't thought of.
It's all part of the amalgam, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's do it because it's the right thing to do, and within the parentheses of it being right, there's fish, there's wildlife. How many?
All sorts.
How many kingfishers are there now? Lots.
Well, there are lots, but you have to be on the canal to see them. You can't just sort of pitch up and say, well, there was no kingfishers today, so there isn't any.
You normally see them at water level because you're there. What was that?
Yeah.
And it's from the tree down away again.
Yeah, isn't it wonderful how you do see them so iridescent blue?
Yeah.
You wish you could slow time down so you could watch it more easily.
Absolutely.
I know there's a lot at the Portadown end, and some of the guys out on the hogweed spraying at this end have seen them now. So there are kingfishers there. Yeah. And they obviously eat the fish and live on the fish.
So the danger is there too.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
But we've been told by the Lochs Agency that part of their normal prosecution, when they do find out what's going on and prosecute somebody, is restocking of any fish that have been killed. And so that's part of the fine, you know, part of the redress. So that's,
Give them community service. Put them for a year on the canal.
That would be good.
But it actually isn't, because you need people of good heart to be on the canal.
Yeah.
You need people who care about it to be there.
Well, we need people who want to be there for whatever reason, whether it's to do with the canal or whether it's to do with a bit of getting fit or whether it's to just want to be out or they want to get away from their spouse. Who knows why they're there, Ron? We don't care.
I know.
They'll be out anyway.
Get away from your spouse. Yeah. My goodness.
So that was
how many people have you on the... You're going well now. You have a lot of people there.
Yeah, we do have a good pool to call on.
Yeah.
People have different interests, which should bring me on to some of our good news stuff.
Yes.
We are doing our cycle tours.
Oh, yeah, that's the safari,
the
canal safari.
Yeah, so we have 4 trained leaders in the branch. And
how many bikes have you got?
We don't have the bikes at all.
You use the
Southern Health Trust. They have the bikes for their Cycling for Health programme, 16 in a pod.
So you can have a pod of, I love the term.
A pod, isn't it? Just like it reminds me of whales.
Absolutely, absolutely, It's not the day or yesterday you would have seen your first whale.
No, that's true.
In your travels on board your wonderful boat all those years ago.
Yeah.
So the bikes, they go out on the bikes.
Yeah, and there's 4 leaders. You have a certain number of people to leaders, all that kind of thing, you know. And then we have a few stops along the way to talk about the history of the canal and what we are doing and the potential for the future in the canal. So you get a past, present, future. Because so many people have no idea what's beside them when they go along there.
Of course. And
so
more and more people are using the towpath.
Oh, yes.
So if they knew a little bit more about it...
It creates a bit more interest.
And it builds the strength of the the lobby
Yeah.
for
That's
the
it.
complete opening.
Yeah.
You know, so that's very good.
So we've done, I think, 3 of the tours so far. We do one a month, and some of those people want to come back and do a tour that starts at a different place, so they learn
Yeah.
different things.
Goodness gracious.
So we're very happy with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we have another little project going then, which comes back to the other volunteers and reasons for doing things. And we're investigating the possibility of a rock garden out at Steenson's Bridge in partnership with the Mourne Cooley Gullion Geotourism Project.
Hey, there's good people there.
They're good. That's
yeah.
I did the Geo Ambassadors course.
I saw you. Do you know where I saw you? You were looking at shop fronts in the middle of Newry
That's
with
right,
Peter,
yes, yeah.
with that woman, that lovely what's her
Siobhan.
name? Siobhan. She's a great girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's really
great girl.
enthusiastic. The whole
She's
team are very
wonderful. Yeah,
enthusiastic,
yeah,
actually.
They do the good things there.
So I did their course on the Geo Ambassador, which was learning about the geology of the area,
Yeah.
with a view to putting it to use somehow. You know, to make more people aware of the unique stuff we have. So we came up with the idea of a geology timeline rock garden. So there's a little slopey bit beside the bridge out there at Gerald's Pass or Gora Wood, wherever you would call it, and we did a work party on it a couple of years ago to clear the bridge so you could see it, and we left with a bit of scrubby land which has been neglected. So now we're making plans to do this geology timeline, which will show the rocks. We'll have samples of the rocks, and you can see the different rocks and how many million years ago those rocks
You
were
won't
laid
make
down
it
there.
too artificial, will you?
Oh no,
It'll be done
just a piece of rock
style.
sitting in the ground and then planting
Yeah.
around it. Because we have people who love gardening. They
Yeah.
don't want to go to the canal work parties, but they want to do something to
Yes.
enhance around the canal.
Yeah.
So we have a woman there, Liz Johnson, Tom's wife, who was here a couple of weeks ago. with you.
Yes, yes.
She's in charge of the gardening bit
Tom's a
for
good
that.
lad. He's relatively new to the business
Yeah.
of loving a canal.
Yes.
But he was finding... was he doing it to get away from the wife and she followed him into it?
No. No, I tell you what it was. His wife is in a book club with me in Banbridge.
And you
I keep talking about the
grabbed
canal.
her and you said, come on, have something to do.
And I said, I just talk about the canal and my normal thing, promoting it.
Yes.
And she said that Tom was recently retired and she was looking for something for him to do.
Keep him out of
Keep him out of the road,
Keep him out of the road. And
But
you
it
said,
does
well,
happen, Rowan. Somebody who's been working for a lot of years and then they retire and they get up in the morning and they look around and think,
You're joking.
what do I do today?
Are there people like that?
Oh, yeah, of course there are. And who
Never.
don't know what to do.
I have never had a millisecond like that in my entire life.
You haven't had a regular, if you'll pardon me, you haven't had a regular 9 to 5 job where you do the same thing basically every day.
No, I had different things every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were your own boss a lot of the time.
Totally, yeah.
So,
nobody
for
could-
someone who's worked in an office situation,
Yeah, oh God. Yeah.
and they suddenly don't have to go there anymore.
Yeah.
So they have to think of a whole new life for themselves.
Well, you give this guy a whole new life. You said,
We
come
do
and
it for a
join
lot
us
of
in the
people.
canal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And some like it, some don't. Some come
yeah.
a couple of times and then they go away again.
Yeah,
But others jump in and take part in everything.
I'm hugely pleased. I have to confess this to you. And I speak on behalf of my dead friend Donnelly, who's in heaven. And I have the press cuttings of the beginnings of all of this, the stories of our founding of the Newry Canal Preservation Society. If I had known then that the well-being of the waterway would eventually rest in the hands of your branch, with yourself and Peter and all of your people around you, Donnelly and I would have got drunk on Canal Tay twice as much as we did, because we would have been over the moon about the whole thing. We would have been delighted to know that in our dotage and his deathage, so to speak, my dotage, his deathage, that the canal is safe. And I think broadly speaking, you can say now, hand on heart, that the future of the canal
I think it is
safe.
because
Broadly speaking, I said.
because we've brought it to the attention by getting our own shovels out.
Yeah.
And we've always noticed that when you get your own shovel out, people take notice of you.
Yeah.
The Rivers Agency have been called notoriously hard to work with. We find them fine because they
Yeah.
see us doing something,
Yeah.
so they do something in return.
You've almost got the English pattern in there. But I don't mean for that to
we'd
be
love
offensive.
to. Yeah, no, we'd
But
love to get that now.
the volunteers of England, they're
Yeah.
the ordinary fellows with the straw hats and the hankies, and they're doing doing this and doing that. But you're getting there. That's the sort of thing. You have a volunteering spirit there
Yeah.
on the canal.
We've actually, funny you should mention the English ones, Tom and Paul McKeown, who also comes in here.
Yes.
The two of them this week are away on a work camp in England
Wow.
with the Waterways Recovery Group
That's great.
as a kind of they're on a fact-finding mission, shall we say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the politicians behaving themselves in relation to the waterway, or are they still being muppety?
I think they're behaving themselves quite well.
Good, good.
You see the public realm scheme here in Newry
It's
now.
wonderful. It's nice, isn't
completed.
it? It really is nice.
And that was being public money from
Yeah.
Stormont.
I have to say it to you, and I've said it to the other people involved in River Newry, the Newry Maritime people. I've discovered that once upon a time, and I'm not complaining about anything here, I so love the public realm scheme at Newry. I think it's brilliant. There are a few wee things need tweaking. One of them being it has been turned into an ornamental pond.
Oh, no,
I
don't
cannot
agree
get
with
a
you.
canoe in.
And, oh, well, now,
I can't get a canoe in.
that might be something to do with your decrepitude. wouldn't
No,
it?
no, but I'm thinking of families who want
Yes,
to
I
go
know.
down there.
Yeah.
Once upon a time they could put it in, but now there's a gate that size.
I know.
How do you get your family in? There's nowhere for fishermen. So those are small things. The other thing, they've managed to, down at the lovely sculpture that's going to be unveiled soon, they've managed to position the benches looking at the traffic on the road.
Oh, no.
Rather than looking across at the wildflowers. Just small things, Council, very small things in an otherwise magnificent crown.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to tell them that.
Oh, yeah, but canoes.
Yeah.
Now, we did put in our consultation at the time,
Yeah.
and we asked that they put in little canoe portages or canoe
Yeah.
steps to put a canoe in, so someone like you could do. But they thought there was no call for that. And now, since the scheme has been completed and people are walking there, there's been half a dozen canoes in the canal in the last fortnight alone.
Well, I don't know how they're getting them in. I could
Well,
put a
they're
canoe
young,
in.
fit
Let's be
people, I
honest.
think
Let
is
me
what it is.
I could put a canoe in. But in the oldest time, I would have brought my family down. We could have stood around and put it in. We
Yeah.
could have sat. None of that's possible. But anyway, it's
no,
all good.
it's not possible, but it's not impossible
Oh,
for the
no,
future
yeah,
because
yeah.
we did try and make sure that they would leave scope for that to happen. But I think at the moment they've been put in down at the rowing steps, you know, in the, the
yes,
ship
yeah.
canal. And then you have to get under the bridges, of course. So you'd have to bend your old back.
Even the
row and get
swans
under
have
there.
to get out to get by
Well,
the bridges.
If you go far
Yeah,
enough up, yeah.
yeah.
But isn't it astonishing, though, that people didn't put canoes in the canal when there was a wall there, but now that there's a railing and you
They're
can
doing
see
it.
around you,
Yeah,
in
it's
it
great.
goes.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you.
And
Look,
can I
please
tell
keep
you
going.
one last
yes,
thing?
Yes, of course you may.
We've just heard recently that there's a woman is putting a narrowboat into the canal
Oh, lovely.
to start a business from.
Lovely.
Isn't that great?
Lovely.
So,
I'm so pleased about that.
Yeah.
What kind of business?
food business.
Wonderful. Love it. And where would that
She's
roughly where would
presently
that
in
be?
London, and she's bringing her boat here.
Yeah.
And she's applying for the permits and licenses to start a
fantastic.
food business on the
Good
canal.
news. You heard it first here.
Isn't
a
that wonderful?
narrowboat on
Yeah.
the Newry Canal.
And do you know what, Rowan? She's looking for somebody to manage it for her.
No, I'm not
You
be
could
me.
even live on it, she
No.
said.
That's another number
Come
you got to
on.
get me. Get me this
Yeah.
woman's number.
No, I think it's brilliant. She's actually
Yeah.
taking the plunge and she's bringing a boat here and putting it in
Yeah.
the canal and starting a business from it.
It's great
Wonderful.
stuff. God bless you. You go
Happy
well.
note.
Take care. Namaste. Go well.
Thank you,
Take
Ralph.
care.